I wrote this piece a while back. I don't know how many people gonna check in, so hopefully you can check in after the video or whatnot. But I wrote this topic um, that is called "What's a Real Man." At one point in time, I was like really clueless as to what defines a man. Can we define our personal value system that will be respected by the common community? And then I thought, like, well, in life, you either gonna be a part of a system that's gonna be consistent, and that's a part of making a real man and building a young person up to become a real man. And I want to share with you something I wrote that's to me is very touching and real deep. A real man. Being a real man is rarely publicly defined, but is commonly practiced. Being a real man cannot be persuaded by the argument that it's just an idea. It is the true way of life. A real man is an identity defining specific qualities expressing a respectable way of life. A real man do not consist of any character based on a non-personal value system. See, there's just adult males who don't take being a real man serious. And they get caught up in this ideology that control the lack of them being a real man, responsible, blameless, and things of that nature and character. And a real man, he take his personal values serious. Like, he don't play around with it. He wants you to respect him as a real man. He wants you to respect his boundaries, and he wants you to respect how he operate. And he do things not only for himself, but for his family and his children in the community. I will go on. The ideal man has some real man elements attached to himself, but he is not authentic. The real man is underrated. He do not get enough publicity that will create a bigger class and influence for himself publicly that will separate the ideal man from him, which is glorified to annihilate the true essence and identity of the real man. For every real man out there, there is a mentality-wise mama boy bringing shame on the real identity of a real man. Being a boy is many steps away from becoming a man. A person's physical attributes do not mean he is a man. It just means he reached adulthood. When you depend on a woman, when you have the physical and the mental ability to work and bring home some bacon, you are still a mama boy. Remember how your mother used to be the one responsible for everything, like your clothes, the bills, the food, and even your school field trips? The woman you is with is no different than what your mother used to do for you. The woman you with can be blamed in some way for aiding your stagnation of independence. Will go all out of her way to save her relationship and marriage. But do know this though. I want y'all to know this. It's nothing wrong with going out of your way to save your relationship and save your marriage. The only problem with that is that if you doing it to keep a man in your life, it's not fit for him, especially when you holding him back. If he's not working and the only thing he do is sit around with his hand out. I will go on. The ideal man still have a child understanding. He have not become a man in the complete sense of what it means to be a man, because he still possess a psychological dependency on a woman that mimic the characteristic of his mother. That is the kind of woman he prey on. The one that will manipulate him to become lazy and unmanly like. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I had the understanding of a child. When in chapter 13, verse 11. Did you know when you depend on a woman, you become her actual slave? She literally controlled you illusionally and deceitfully by what she had. by what she have that be the actual reason you may be sticking around. And many women know that. She want to keep you fooled so you do not use it as leverage against her that she's using your time. Should she take away from you what it is you wait around for to get, you will feel that it's personal and problematic and possibly go crazy. And for real, you may go crazy. Because you allow her to get you stuck on wasting your time. And in the process, she wasting her time and don't see that. You're wasting your time and you're wasting his time. She should not be the one holding the key to your financial happiness and livelihood. You should be the one in complete control of your financial happiness and livelihood. A real man will not allow nothing to be the master over his destiny and his home and truth. Yeah, a real man will not allow something to be the master over his happiness, his financial prosperity, his home, and his overall operation. See, a real man will have enough self-respect to work his own, to get his own. That way he wouldn't have someone or something attempting to enslave, control him. I go on. Do everything you can to live a quiet life. Mind your own business. Work with your hands just as we told you to. That's 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 11. When I read the word just as we told you to, it reminds me of Genesis chapter 3, verse 19. You will have to work hard and sweat a lot to produce the food you eat. And that's what God told Adam when him and Eve, when Adam allowed Eve to trick him to commit the sin. God told Adam that this is the curse. This is why men seem to be first in line to want to be outside of the household to work and provide, produce, labor. It says you will have to work hard and sweat a lot to produce the food you eat. You is not sweating by having your hands out. The reason why your plans to cheat God out of what he requires you to do is found to be unacceptable is because it is a sinful act in itself to avoid following what he requires for you to go out there and work, sweat, labor. You will feel more glorified making your own money from your own hard work, labor, versus you waiting around doing nothing with your hands out. You only care about what you get out of someone or something. If you care enough about yourself, you will do way better for yourself. You will not let someone or something control what makes you happy unless you have some personal involvement with you being happy and not being happy. Quit trying to be like everyone else and be yourself. The lifestyle you desire to live or is living is out of you wanting things other people have. So get rid of every kind of evil. Stop telling lies. Don't pretend to be something you are not. Stop wanting what others have. Don't speak against each other's. That's in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. 1, this is for me. It is best to not say nothing at all when you do not know the truth or cannot tell the truth. Seek wisdom. 2, do not be what you do not have the stomach to stand or that you doubt. 3, wanting what other people have is like a child that see a toy some other child is playing with. And to get that toy, they do unlawful and sinful things. The mental of an uncontent and ungrateful person. Exactly what value lesson is you setting for the young people and your children? When the lifestyle you live in leads to self-destruction, imprisonment, or even death caused by your unlawful and sinful acts, then the youth cannot be faulted for being misled by your ignorance and stupidity. It is you that set the wrong example which lead many of them down a bad path. When you have the opportunity to change history and break the cycle, you continue to seek pleasures that cause ongoing suffering, which lay more traps. Do not teach them to be proud of a lifestyle that will continue to bring shame and unrest on themselves and their community and their family. Don't act as if you were a ruler over those who are under your care. Talking about the adults, the ones that are responsible for the youth. Instead, be example to the flock. A good example, should you set, will produce good outcomes. A bad example, should you set, will produce bad outcome. Common sense is not so common with a lot of people. You is not a real man if you zipping and running in and out of the streets when you have a whole family at home that need a positive father. So you can be considered selfish and a dysfunctional person. I get it if you don't get it out the streets, your family can't eat. If your kids will be dim from you being in the streets, you will not be selfish. Don't no child really want to see his or her mother found dead. Getting it out the streets will end up being the main reason why you and your kids go hungry. Because once you get caught, you will face a criminal situation or possibly worse. Now, is it worth all of that? Is it worth all of that? To each his own. Your illegal hustling is selfishness at its finest. You put yourself before what your family needs the most is a father at home and safe. All of the evil things people seem to be living and doing in the streets and want to get out of life is invisibly fighting against themselves to destroy them. Because it's a saying that we are our worst enemy. We are our worst enemy. We are our worst enemy. Put up with hard times. God used them to train you children. Where children are trained by their parents. And that's in Hebrews, I didn't write the chapter 12, verse 6, verse 7. After you put in the hard work, you will reap the produce from what you sow. No training seemed pleasant at the time. In fact, it seemed painful. But later on, it produced a harvest of godliness and peace. It does that for those who have been trained by it. And that's Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11. But I want you to keep your head high no matter what happens. Don't give up when times are hard. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 5. When you think about it, you're definitely right. I cannot tell you how to live your life. I only propose great suggestions for you to follow because I care. I do care. And I'm not caring because I want, I care about the views and things like that. If I could just touch one person, and that one person touch another person, and that one person touch another person, and that's what Jesus and Prophet Muhammad did. Elohim Shalom, that's what they did. But I'm just reading to you to make corrections. I'm not reading to you to expect any perfection. I'm just pointing out to you what I think is a real man. And in my personal life, I do what is necessary to produce that character and identity of what it means to be a real man. Yeah. Have I made mistakes in my life? Yes. What person haven't made a mistake? See, the thing about life is not allowing the... Yeah, so, I'm just saying, we all can know this. Being a man is it's more to just being a man. It's more to just being a man. Like I know somewhere in the scripture it says anyone who does wrong will be paid back for what he does. And that's kind of like karma. And that's in Galatians, remind me of karma. What you do to somebody, may come back to you tenfold. But you got people out there that exaggerate what it means to be a real man. And then when you being a real man, you're going to go through this incompassionate plot to revert you back to who you used to be. But as long as you steadfast in that storm, I guarantee you, God see all good. And all good will outweigh the bad, no matter whether it's here in this life or in the afterlife. They always come back to a person. All the time. So I wanted to let y'all know that, expressing what is a real man. Y'all let me know what y'all think, and we close out. I don't know, it ain't gonna let me close out.